Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome into the Philly AM Sports with Al. I'm Al, and he's Mike. Hey, Mike, what's going on, my friend?
Good morning, Al.
Coffee kicked in. We're ready to roll, guys.
Actually, my lovely wife is actually going to get me another cup. So
Wow.
yeah, if you guys looked on Facebook, you already see what I look like without coffee.
Lucky you. Some of us have to make our own. But other than that, guys, welcome in Sunday morning. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the WBC and what's going on with that right now, going into the semis. We're going to be talking about the Phillies with what? I don't know, 10-ish days, something like that, 10, 11 days left until the actual start of the season. NFL free agency, do the takeaways, are people worried, over worried? And we'll touch on a little bit of something that happened last night, that came out last night about some guys just need to know when to go away.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
Yes, they do. I mean, like seriously,
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of some of these guys that turn around and they still got to do something to stay relevant. They got to jump on somebody's podcast. Man, just go away already. Like, just shut up. You've had your chance to say your piece. Let somebody else say theirs.
Well, two things is you had your chance to say your piece. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everyone.
But you listen. It's like this. It's like watching a movie, really, or a series or something where you're invested in the characters, and they end it right. They end the series. They had their chance to say your goodbyes. They go off into the sunset, or Ellis, my brother, what's going on?
Good morning, Ellis.
They have their chance to say their goodbyes, right? But then. And they're talking about retiring, and then they retire, but then yet their annoying voices continue to rear their ugly heads. And you went, listen, this day and age, you can do that, right? Like what we're doing. Any two jackasses with a microphone and a computer can come on and talk about sports all they want. You can choose to listen, you can choose not to listen, but some guys.
Hey, Joe, good morning.
When you just don't know when to give it up, and you know what? Since we're talking about it, we're going to touch on it now, and then we'll just move on to the actual sports related stuff.
Yeah. Let's get this garbage out of the way, and then we can move on.
I'll put this up here because anybody who doesn't know, it happened more later in the afternoon yesterday to the evening. You all know who these old curmudgeons are. Mr. Howard Eskin and Mr. Angelo Cataldi, which, you know what sucks a little bit? I'm going to be, and this is me being completely, I'm not here. I usually don't bash or try to besmirch guys who, listen, trailblazers in their own right. The time when, I put this up on Twitter, I'll kind of just say, when the time when radio was king, Mike, these guys were.
Yeah, they were. They were, like, but.
Because you had radio, you had newspaper, and some TV, right? But really, radio and newspaper was
right.
the big media.
But you know what? It's pretty funny. I mean, for guys who wanted to go away, and like, let's keep it real. Like, Cataldi had a 1.5-year send-off party from WIP, right?
Oh my God, I couldn't get away from the dial from that. That was actually really to ram me away from the dial a little bit. And I'm not saying that because hey, I was on those podcasts. Of course, he hates the dial. I don't hate the dial. There's a lot of guys on the dial I'll still listen to. But it's
becoming harder and harder to listen to them because some of this is just outrageous clickbaits, But WIP has a formula. They take. I mean, we're a football town. You never hear them talk Flyers on there unless they bring Broads on, and that's only like once a week in the afternoon. They, for some odd reason, are in love with the Sixers for some ungodly reason. Okay, but. It's more or less, if you listen to WIP is more a Phillies Eagles station with the Eagles taking the lead, and then they mix in Phillies during their season, and then they'll sprinkle in the Sixers. The Flyers are an afterthought. Like, for me, but it's the same concept.
So here's my thing on that one. The people are the ones who allow that to happen, right? People need to tune in Flyers more. And I put this up with Nooms. I know I've been following with Nooms lately. He's been dealing with really some tough times with his family. So anybody, I'll let Nooms explain if he wants to, but ultimately he's been dealing with some family issues. So Nooms has been, I call it guys friends, is friends with doing the podcasting with me since God I can remember, years. So, anything you need, Nooms, we're here. And I loop you in. It's, let me pull up the graphic again. so you know who we're talking about, because I don't even like using their names as much as I don't have to. But these two knuckleheads, Howard and Angelo, either I don't know. I think it was Howard's show, his Facebook or his Twitter show, which is. And here's my thing: is for how many years the knucklehead, as he likes to call people, the self-proclaimed king, sat there and said that social media is neither social nor media. And how many times I hear him say that, I heard him say it in person, and I would turn and look at him and say, then delete your Twitter account. Delete your Facebook account, delete your YouTube account, delete all your social media. But he won't, because he knows he needs it, because he knew it was going that way. You don't have to like it, but you have to respect the fact that it's going that way. Well, they did their show, and they went on, and they were talking about the state of especially 94 WIP and how it's soft and things have changed, and it doesn't like when they were there. Like, yelling at a cloud. Like, it's just it is that typical old man yelling at the cloud scenario. And one of them, their son's that runs the station, and he's on one of the afternoon shows. And the other one, he has people who worked there for years diligently for him, defending him when he was acting like a jacket. I mean, these guys make fun of everything that radio has become, but they are what radio has become. They were shticks before shtick was a shtick, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, come on. The whole thing with
before rage bait was rage bait. I mean, that was what Angelo did. He would just get rage baity about something. He wouldn't let it go. You could even hear it in his co-host, like, all right, dude, we get it. You don't like it, like.
Yeah. All right, you know what else too? Go back and listen to anything leading up to a wing bowl, and chicks would come in, like dancers would come into his studio. Good God, it was hard to hear. Like, you would sit there and listen to that. You'd be like, oh my God, like these poor girls.
Yeah,
but I knew it was just
even Howard's son went at him for this. Like, I saw him retweet the article, and then he went at him, which he should have. Maybe the nepo baby's biting back a little bit, whatever it is. So here's the thing, Rob. I don't want to say WIP stinks. There is people on plenty of the radio stations and podcasts and major TV and radio networks, national, that I don't like or care for. And unfortunately, it is kind of what we're doing right now, tiny bit, that allows these guys to feed and survive like vampires. They feed on the anger, the rage, the guys speaking out or speaking against them.
Dude, yeah, I mean, it's all over. I mean, if you really take a look now, a lot of stuff right now is just rage bait. And you know what? You know what happened with the Eagles being good over the last few years? Guess what? A lot of these national pundits that do national shows, they now realize, oh, we can go after the Philadelphia fan, and they're going to come stick up for their team. Why do you think the Eagles get talked about so much now?
No, it's 100%. Anytime you mention Philly, it's like clicks for you. You know it's going to be clicks, good or bad. If you rah-rah us or if you poo-poo us, it's going to incite something. And you're right. What is it? Has become an easy target.
Right. Look at was it Acho and Shady Show? Right.
Yeah.
The speakeasy.
I call him Emmanuel.
Yeah, I mean, my man has flipped more times than a fish out of water. Now, granted, he's a smart guy. Emmanuel Acho is not stupid. He's not. Both Acho brothers are both very, very intelligent. Okay. And he does break down film. I've seen stuff where he's going on and literally I've watched him break down tape on certain players that we've drafted or whatever. I've seen them doing that. But I've also seen him click and rage bait too. Okay. So, but I think the coffin's open.
I saw that. I see it.
But I mean, it's not bad. But these guys just got to go away. Like, get some blood in.
And here's my thing is that I'm gonna take a step back for a second because I
like Matty B. Matty B's like he's our curmudgeon here.
Yeah. Radio hosts all have expiration dates, which is why you see them jump from station to station. So here's a couple of things. Let me put this in. The way of radio is different now because there is so many guys like us and out there where you can ingest whatever you want, how you want it. Be it good or bad in the eyes of whoever you talk to. Homer or not Homer or negative or not negative. And I know this would strike a nerve with because I know Maddie likes one of them a lot. And that's fine. I grew up on Howard Eskin and I respected him. I grew up on Angelo Cataldi, and I respected him because you know what? They had a captive audience because it was in the if you're in the car and you wanted to listen to sports radio, that's what you had to listen to. So
Yeah.
they were able to have a captive audience. Nowadays, like Elephant in the Room is saying right here, guys do jump around because it isn't the same type of media anymore because they're not the kings. They don't have the staying power nowadays because the money can jump off real easily. You have to be rage baity to do it. And to jump to what this guy's saying. So rage bait bad, homer bait good. What's the difference? Hypocrites. There is no there is no
No,
difference.
it's all bad. It's
It's
all bad.
bad. I never said that. I'm like, it's just these are two guys that, like I said, Angelo Cataldi's like that big show, Game of Thrones, or whatever. Like you watch, you invest in the characters for many, many years. He had a hell of a send off, as Mike mentioned. Like, I mean, it was like a
A
year,
year
and a half.
year and a half. They were counting down that he was retiring. Like,
Like going away party. And he just I'm going to retire. I really am not going to do much. And then, I'm doing a show. Whatever. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that part of it. It's just that all you can sit there and do is yell and say it's not the same. This is not. No, it's not the same. And as Mike just mentioned, things are different. We grew up championship lists, right? For the most part, we had if you're old enough to remember, you had the '80 Phillies and then the two back-to-back '70s championships for the Flyers, right? And then the '83 Sixers. From '83 all the way up to, I guess it's a 2008, right?
you're forgetting the '85 Villanova, or '85 Nova.
Listen, I'm talking about the major.
Listen, we still,
Maybe I'm a little.
I mean,
Maybe I'm still upset about the whole Villanova New York Knicks situation. Maybe I'm like, but in the major four sports that they talk about on the radio, let's throw that out there too, Mike. It's been from 80. You went from 83 all the way up to 2008 with no championship. That's where the Wing Bowl came out of. That's where it all came from. That we'd be lucky to be a bridesmaid some years in Philadelphia, but that's why they were able to live off of that. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. You have a handful of championships. You have teams that have been good at least, or at least in the conversation to talk about all that kind of stuff. But they just, and listen, Howard got himself in whatever trouble. That's between him and his Lord, and let them figure everybody else in between figure it out. And just I'm not saying you don't have to go away, but you don't go out there and especially like the people that made you, like especially towards the end of both of their guys' radio careers at WIP, and just bash them. Could you imagine like when I left EOP, right? Mm-hmm. Could you imagine like, hey guys, I had to leave, I gotta go, and I did, and then weeks later I start doing my own podcast, and then during those weeks I'm sitting there. Well, Matty B's a curmudgeon asshole. Mike Laro doesn't know anything about sports. It's not the same. These guys are all whiny babies. Like, if I sat there and did that, you guys would have a certain feeling about me at that point.
Right. And the thing is, too, like,
and as rightfully so, you should.
Right. But I mean, like, if you listen to that interview, like, it really was like a whiny type thing. Like, and to be honest with you, do I think that, does Angelo and Howard deserve all the accolades they did for laying the foundation? Yeah. But if you go back and look at the original morning crew, they weren't even the top one. The top one was Tony Bruno. Tony Bruno went national.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He went national. Yeah, I love Tony Bruno. Tony Bruno, to me, I really enjoyed listening to him.
He was a guy when I was younger and I'm in the car with my father, my grandfather, whatever. I remember the voice. I listened to it. That's where I got my love to hear sports radio, sports conversations and stuff like that. That was fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the guys were late to the party and all they can do is bash what we do. Because, hey, maybe rage bait, homer bait, bait, whatever it is you want to call it, right? They bash what you do. All right, you're king, and Angelo, the guy who made morning shows, the morning show. Those guys bashed you as much as they bashed WIP because all I heard, how many times I listened when Howard was still on the radio. Social media is neither social nor media, right?
Right, exactly. So I mean,
media. If it wasn't for social media, you wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now to create the It's a Wrap Sports Network that has you created so very well. By the way, let's just give Matty B his flowers when he can. He does an amazing job. He gets it. He knows when you run a network, there's a lot of extra work that goes into it, and balancing that and your regular life out is just not easy. And he does an amazing job. They bash what you did, and now because they are late to the game, because they thought that they would outlast, they would
this
outlast
industry.
They would outlast what the podcasting phenomenon or the live streaming phenomenon, that it would never work, but it has, because a lot of people have used it, and especially has given guys like athletes or former athletes, current athletes, their own which as us podcasters, oh great, another athlete with a podcast, we're gonna lose. So you can't compete with that, even if it's good or bad. But let's just real quick. No matter how much a clown Angelo was, he knew how to bring out award-winning journalists at the right time. But the new people aren't that, and I agree with you. I'm not sitting there saying that they said anything that maybe
isn't true.
If he said like, oh well, listen, it's all a bunch of social media nerds and all that stuff. Whatever. He could be a little right, could be a little wrong. But all he was is a shtick. He made somebody a villain. Every time he interviewed Nick
Kapler
or Kapler or whatever, it became a joke at times. Like, it wasn't even real. And I really liked Angelo. And he was my morning show, my commute to work when I started working. He was what I listened to going down the shore until you had the reach wasn't there anymore. Like,
right.
Even Howard, like, I liked Howard Eskin too, and like I got to work with him, not with him, but side by side to him a few times, and I got to see, the way they look down on what you do, Mike, what I do, what Matty B does, and everybody else. Nooms is saying you get the 84 stars, 94, 95, 98, and 08 wings. Yeah.
Hold on. 84 stars. Dude, you might as well go. The USFL was only around 4 years, and they went to the championship game every year. I know they lost the first year, but they won the next three. So there's like three.
They were
stars.
Baltimore by the time they got to the second or the last one, right? Were they the Baltimore star?
Yeah, the last one. The first two were Philly. The last one was Baltimore. So,
here's Elephant. This is actually a good point. Also, people can fact check anything within 3 minutes these days. So if your take is hot, you better have some ground to stand on. Some of these masturbators do not.
Yes, and he. That's one thing we can honestly say, that if they do have a gripe, as we call them, the curmudgeons, if they do have a gripe, that's something they can gripe about, because there are a lot of guys that do what we do, Al, that don't fact check, okay, and that don't get their facts right, and they just come on here and spew, and then then they got to backtrack. You know what I mean?
Howard just recently had that kind of interaction with Devin Caney, who people are saying, well, she took over for Howard, and she did in his Eagles sideline reports. Yeah. But I don't think she went in there, slept her way to the top, and got it. He got himself out. Let's just be honest with that. Like, I'm not going to get into the situation with what happened with him, because I don't want to talk about it, because I don't have all the data in front of me, and I don't want to talk about something I don't have all the data in front of me. But whatever reason, they got tired of him for his stuff, and they had to move on. But with that being said, is like, Angelo was a little different, and like you said, he had nothing but the time to do his goodbye parade, his 1.5 year long goodbye parade.
And the funny thing is, if you've ever met Angelo, like, outside of a studio setting, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet.
And that's I'm not even disrespecting them as guys, as human beings. Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, that interview they did, they sounded like two old men saying, "Get off my lawn." That's what I took out of it. You young whippersnappers, get off my lawn. And I was like, and come on, like, you can't do that. Times change, industries change. I mean, look, they were smart enough to get, and you got to give them both credit. This is another guy, Jody McDonald. Love that dude. Love that dude. I actually had to sit down and actually had a full-fledged conversation right after I joined you guys over at EOP. When we and Pat came over from EOP, I met Jody McDonald, believe it or not, at Harris Racetrack. He's real big on horses, and I sat down and I asked him for advice. Guy, literally, while everybody was trying to meet, he literally pulled me aside, walked me over, and we were sitting there talking. He gave me a good 15 minutes out of his time. when he didn't have to.
Listen,
you know what I mean? He could have been like, "Hey, kid, go to Connecticut School of Broadcasting." You know?
Yeah. And here's the thing: is I take everything with a grain of salt, right? And it's just like the athlete themselves, right? And that's the problem with some of these guys. They get so big, they think they're bigger than the athlete, they're bigger than the fan, they're bigger than the city. And I think that kind of is the problem with some of these guys here, and they don't know when they're not. Because the athletes have to understand if it wasn't for you and me and everybody else in between trying to watch sports as much and ingest sports as much as it is, they wouldn't be as relevant. And same thing with these guys. If us fans, like, it always comes back down to the nitty gritty, which is the fans. Like, if us fans didn't love our sports in Philadelphia as much as they were, these athletes wouldn't get paid the kind of
I'll tell you right now,
they make.
If we weren't as passionate fans as we are, and granted, I'm going to go out and say this for the other side too. We have a lot of idiots that escaped our village as well. Like, I will definitely be the first one to say that our village has had a lot of escaped idiots that went out there and done stupid things. Okay, but the one thing you hear from any athlete that comes here and plays is this is a passionate fan base. Now, do we have some knuckleheads and some village idiots? Of course. And you know what? I feel like sometimes the national spotlight gets shined on those village idiots that escape out of our village. Okay. Like their spotlight's looking for them. So, again, the way I look at it is that going with this thing now, like I said, they were on the forefront from print to radio. Okay.
Sure.
They missed the bus going from radio to podcasting. And it's just
I told you they poo-pooed it. Yeah, you heard it. They were very vocal about it.
Right. And to me, I think it's funny because I've seen Angelo on a ton of podcasts. I mean, hell, he was on with our boys, the Sully Squad. He was on with them a few times.
He still does. I think he still does it with the
Jacob Sports. He does. He
does.
Yeah, he does Chet and Bill as well. He's been on with Celio over on Jacob Sports. He's always popping on his thing. So Angelo's probably just as relevant now as he was when he was working every day.
And it's not even about his relevancy. I don't even care that he wants to stay relevant and go on shows and all that stuff. That is not
Morning, Mitch.
That is not my point. I don't even care that they have critiques about WIP. We all do. And like, listen, again, there is some guys on WIP, not a huge fan of, and there's some people on WIP that I think are great. I really like. I think they talk about it. They all have their shticks. They all have their things, and the shtick is fine. You need a shtick. We always say that. You need a shtick. But like, where people go, that's Angelo. We know that's Angelo. We can tell how loud that squeaky kind of voice that he has. You knew that was Angelo. Like Jody Mack, he has a very distinct voice.
Well, it's kind of a heavy New York accent, but yeah. I mean, other than that, yeah. Matty got a good comment right here, and I like this comment because I do kind of agree with Matt as far as our fan base getting a little softer. But winning does that, Matty. You got to remember, Phillies weren't winning World Series when we were younger. Like, Matty's a couple years older than me, but Phillies weren't winning World Series when we were younger. I mean, my buddy who's a Mets fan used to look at me and say, "Yo, your Phillies are 10-year whiz kids." That's what he told me. He was like, "It's 10 years in between. You literally had to go from 83 to 93 before the Phillies even looked relevant." Okay, and the Sixers, forget about it. They would make the playoffs, wouldn't do nothing. Flyers made a couple Stanley Cups, but unfortunately ran into the greatest hockey team put together. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, the Eagles, we already know how they went. Buddy Ryan
Sixers ran into Kobe and Shaq. I mean,
and before that, they ran into Michael Jordan and the Bulls. So I mean,
93 Phillies.
So yeah, there was.
I mean, there was.
Yeah, there's a lot of. We're not the same sports.
How different would it be? Like, let me ask you a question. It would have been different if the Sixers won in 2001, if the Phillies won in 1993. And if
I think it would have been
another Flyers championship between.
Listen, if the Eagles would have won to one Super Bowl in the 90s, just went to one Super Bowl, I think total raw would have been tamed a little bit. I really do.
And here's my thing is, again, I'm not debating that these guys were good or not good, top of their game, not the top of their game. if they should stay relevant and not stay relevant. That's not my debate. They can do whatever they want, just like you and I and anybody else can come on a network or come on a show and talk. That is not my point. There's a level of disrespect that you cross a line, and that's what I think they disrespected the people who like sat by them, especially the morning show with Angelo. I mean, I'm not sitting there telling them that they should not say what they feel about something if just because they were good to them, but they were very blanketed with their statements, just like it's soft. Yeah, well, listen, me and you've talked about this. I've said this to other people who have younger kids. I have a 10-year-old, right? I got a 17-year-old and I got a 23-year-old. And two of them like sports, but if they all like sports, they would have a different life than you and I did, that Matt did, than all Angelo and them could do is deal with. They had to make things fun when this Philly sports scene at times were not fun. Like, let's just be for what it's worth. But my point is, okay, here we go.
Yeah, he's on a roll this morning.
Well, we all know he loves the king. We all know that, and that's fine.
Man, he's got a picture of him hanging up. Watch, if you watch the final word tonight, you'll see Eskin's picture in the background.
I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, you want to come to defend a guy that you like and you respect, that's fine. It is just the respect is a two-way street in my eyes, and that thing that they did was just disrespectful. That's where I kind of fell into it a little bit. It was more disrespectful. You don't have to not like WIP or not like the radio or like podcasts anymore. That doesn't. You can like whatever you like. That's the beauty of the world, and especially America. But free choice. You know what I mean?
Right. And here's the thing too. Like, I don't think those two guys realize. I don't think they realize what it takes. Like if Maddie were to show Eskin and Angelo, like, yo, look, dude, this is what I do to make my network run, and see the work that they have to put into it, I think they would have a little difference of opinion. You know what I mean? Of what it is and how we go about doing our show and how we do our stuff. You know what I mean? How even with the betting, with props, locks, and parlays, we all know Howard used to be Vegas Vic in the newspaper. He was Vegas Vic. Okay, I'm pretty sure he would like. I would honestly take tips from him, like on how to see line adjustments, because that's what he did. But I mean, to see the prep work that we put in for our shows, we put in just as much prep for our shows as those guys do, that they did going on the air.
Well, the only difference. Here's the thing is, it's again with the blanketed statement situation. The blanket when I say blanket statement, it's just saying all together. There's plenty of people on the radio who shouldn't be there in my eyes, but there's plenty of people on the radio who are really deserving of their work and their job. But just like in podcasting world, anybody can pick up a mic and sit there and talk. I really like the Eagles. Go Phillies.
Oh yeah, and
that stuff. Like, go ahead, that's great. And then there's or there's the opposite guy. Oh, the effing Flyers suck.
Yes. And there's a ton of them guys on the line.
Yeah, and they make guys like what Matty B does, and you do, and I do, and all that stuff, and other people like we know out there, kind of makes us look bad. Guys who actually sit there and prep and do show notes and talk and can converse what we want to talk about. That's different. Now, we've gotten on this subject a little longer than I was really hoping for.
Yes.
So I'm going to get these last few comments, and then we're going to actually move on because I want to talk a little WBC with you guys.
Yes.
They won in the 80, playoffs in 82, World Series in 83, Eagles.
And they forgot the Sixers, too. He forgot the Sixers, too. They lost to the Lakers in 82. But 80 was a magical year. 80 was a magical year. Okay? Mm-hmm. Literally, it's 4 sports teams from the same city all reaching the finals. You know what I mean? Like that's a but
I'm sorry, Matt. Is disrespect? Okay, and here's my thing on the last thing on my disrespect thing. If I came on if I quit EOP like I had to, and I started my own show and I was just on there, and I'm disrespecting you over here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, disrespecting all the hard work you do, disrespecting all the hard work Mike does, disrespecting all the people out there who I know who do their work and at least care to try, would you be happy with me? Would you be going on the show and showing me courtesy and respect that I obviously don't have for you at that point if I'm making those comments? So there is a thing about respect. What happened to handing the torch off or something like that? Like, it's just
Yeah.
like, no, 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 no. They'll never be good enough. And when I die, everything dies with it. Like, um,
I'm telling you, you had the greatest line. I mean, you put curmudgeons, I'd have put grumpy old men because
yeah.
that's what they are. And you
Howard
know,
and Angela can bitch all they want, but honestly, Sonny Hill, in my opinion, is even greater royalty in tenure, class, content, longevity. I love Sonny Hill. I grew up on Sonny
yeah,
Hill. Can I just say this though?
no,
I'm going to say this
I
with all
can't,
the.
I
I'm going to say
can't.
this with all. I'm going to say this with all the respect in the world, Nooms. I used to, when we used to do our Sunday shows at the studio, I would have to drive from my house to the studio, which wasn't far. It wasn't far at all. Like 7 minutes, something short
Uh-huh.
number like that, if that. Um, he it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. The energy, especially at Sunday morning at 5 a.m. I need some energy. They're
Oh,
all
oh.
shaking in their boots with the new way of presenting this media. Feel free, they earned their stripes, and their generation has skipped that. They are trying to hold on to theirs. Again, I don't mind them having problems with the media is today. I didn't say that. I don't mind them feeling that things aren't the way they used to be. Fine. It's the disrespect that they showed to people that were there for them. That's where it comes. I mean, even disrespected his own son. I mean, let's throw that out there. You know what I mean? Like he just respected his own son. And again, if he has a problem with it, that's fine. He cannot but they missed the boat, Maddie. They missed the boat. They were unwilling to change with the times. And now that the times have gone past them a little bit, and some of them have to because they can't go back to doing what they were doing. Morning,
Morning,
Mickey.
Mickey.
That is what it is. You have a voice and use your voice is your choice. We have choices too. I'm not disagreeing with that. Again, it's not what they said. It's not that. It's there's a disrespect factor that they showed, especially Angelo, showed his people because they're all coming out of the woodwork on Twitter, going like I think it was Ava Graham. She said, "When I retire, I'll retire, and I won't be checking in on my co-host
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about them." Like,
And that was weird too. You know, I mean,
you
you
pull
did
your
see
tits
that.
off now, but yeah, he
Oh,
will.
Sonny's bad.
Yeah, he'll put
Sonny's
his tits,
bad.
but back on the day, Sonny wasn't such a grind. Now, yeah, I know that, and that's why I respect him. You know, I
He's
respect
a
him
tough
so that
listen
he's
to.
still doing it.
I mean, listen, sometimes you listen to him like getting ready for football. Like I made the mistake when we used to go to the studio L, and I would throw him on, man, and everything is circa 1960s NBA with his shows, or circa MLB 1960s or 70s. You know, he would always bring up, and I understand. There's people that like to talk about that time. I get it. That's his niche. But it was just like you said, he's a tough listen. Nice guy, wonderful man. Just
Oh yeah,
very, very tough to listen to.
yeah. I'm actually gonna share my screen for a second here. It's not working. All right. So honestly, well, let's just move on because I really do want to move on here. We've spent way more time with this than I would have
Yeah,
hoped.
yeah.
Uh, but I want to talk World Baseball Classic. Number one, Mike, have you been enjoying? I
Italy,
understand you're
baby.
watching. I'll ask you this. I understand you're watching the United States games, and understandable. I can't say I haven't had fun watching Italy, kind of making things interesting, um, because my Italian heritage a little bit. But and it's nice to see guys who are kind of like not the top of the class and everything, but showing that they have fight in them. But
Mhm.
has overall, not just the USA teams, but watching the games of baseball in the WBC, have you found it exciting?
Yes, I found it very exciting. These guys are playing with passion, especially these Latin countries. You know, and I'm talking about some of the guys that ain't going to be on an MLB roster. Like when they go back home, I'll give you a great story. The pitcher from the Czech Republic
Mm-hmm.
in Japan goes out and throws 4 shutout innings against that Japanese lineup. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it prior to in the last baseball, and they knew him. The guy walked off the field in the Tokyo Dome. There was standing ovation over there because it was his last World Baseball. It was going to be the last time that guy's ever pitched. And you know what he does back in his home country, in the Czech Republic?
What's that?
He's an
Oh, he was.
electrician.
Yeah, he's
He turned
electric.
around. You know what he said? He said, "In my home country, I can walk down the street and nobody knows who I am." He said, "I walk in the streets of Japan." He goes, "I'm a star."
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't know he passed. All respect to you and your family, love, prayers, all that stuff. Um, this is your father-in-law, if I remember correctly. He passed away at 4:25 yesterday. He was able to bring him out and of sedation. Actually, watch the last 2 minutes of a Sixers game. That's your problem now, he said. that's that's great. That's great. Sounds like a great guy. And Noom's family name.
Condolences, Noom.
Your family to us. I always tell people, your family to us. So, we pray for you, bud. But yeah, no, that's a pretty crazy story. I remember him saying that. Yeah, like I'm gonna let nobody would that, and then to be in an arena, like we always
the
talk
Tokyo
about,
Dome. Tokyo Dome's huge, man.
and to talk about the lights. We always talk about the lights. The stage, like you got to understand something. Maybe for America, this isn't a big thing,
but for everywhere else, it is.
We have the World Series and all that stuff, and Major League Baseball is about to be underway in 10 days or 11 days or whatever it is. These guys, this is everything. I mean, last night, Venezuela was playing for a chance to play in the Olympics. If they lost last night, they wouldn't, they wouldn't have been able to be part of it. Yeah. Now, I know in the beginning I said WBC, like I didn't want my guys playing in it because I'm afraid of injuries, but I can't say it's not fun to watch. It's almost as fun, I would say, as watching Olympic hockey this year was for me. The reason I say almost, or actually, I don't know, it's a little different because here's my thing is USA and Canada kind of just like juggernauted their way through the Olympic hockey, right? Like we all knew it was going to end with the two of them outside of some sort of upset.
Listen, I love the fact that USA won the medal, and I will say this, but I will also say too, things would have looked a lot different too if Russia was allowed to participate. If Russia was participating in those Olympics, it would have looked a lot better.
Yeah,
it could have looked a lot different because look at all the Russian-born players that would have went and played for Russia. So I mean, again, USA would have been one of the top 6 teams, but I don't think. This team, just like I said, they kind of fell their way this year. They played great hockey, and I get that, but I just think if the Russians had played or been allowed to participate in this, it would have been a little different.
And maybe, you might be absolutely correct. And here's the thing: is like I think that's what's made the WBC more fun for me to watch, where I can watch Korea versus the Dominican Republic, even though that was a complete slaughtering to a point. The United States, they had a struggle. Like a lot of our guys, Bryce Harper, really, that's kind of been a little thing from a Philly standpoint. He's been struggling in the WBC.
Listen, I don't care. Like, I want to touch on that too. I could care less that Bryce Harper is struggling in this stupid, and I'm going to say stupid series because it's preseason baseball.
It is.
And that's how our team is looking at it. If you really do take a look at it, this team's looking like they're just guys are there. Yeah, they got the USA on their chest.
I honestly will push back a little bit and think that I think some of them thought this would be a little bit more of a we're going to the finals.
Yeah,
it's pretty much a done deal. And Italy has really surprised people. Now, here's the thing with Italy.
They knocked out Puerto Rico last night, man. That was a hell of a thing.
8-6 final. What a great game. The Mexico game was really fun to watch. The United States-Italy game was fun to watch. Looked like the United States was going to kind of make their way back, but they ultimately didn't. And how they're doing it, like pretty much, Mike, if I had any baseball talent in my body, I could have played for Team Italy this year. You know what I mean? Like as long as you had an Italian-sounding last name, you had to have Italian heritage. And they said on the program, which was pretty interesting, that they said that this year they know that, they understand that, but they're trying to build a national team for the WBCs and I guess the Olympics and all that stuff for what's coming up. But you have Aaron Nolan there, who's looked pretty good, pitching against some good talent there. Dante Nuri, let's just talk about him for a second. Right. The Phillies just picked him up. Was it last year or the year before? I forgot. In the last 2 years.
Yeah, last 2 years.
Young guy. He's really flourished there. It's been great to see him there. Like, does that get him to move up in the ranks a little quicker? In
I don't know. I don't know. You talk to Maddie on that one because I think if anything, well, he's at AA, so. I mean, if he gets a chance to move up, he'll move to AAA. Now, could we possibly see him come up on the roster this year? It all depends, really.
No, I'm just saying, would he move up from single A to AAA or AA or AAA? I'm wondering that. I'm not saying we're going to see him in the Philly, in the main squad. No.
Yeah, he only had like 25 games, I think they said, in Double-A. So I think they're probably going to give him the year in Double-A. Now, if he flourishes, he could move up quickly. But I'll tell you what, he did kind of put his name on notice in this World Baseball Classic that he does belong and he can play. And he was hitting major league pitching. So it's not like he wasn't hitting major league pitching. So,
Sean Quilley, Fly Eagles Fly. We will be talking about the Eagles very shortly. I believe WBC is good energy and all, but I can't bring myself to watch shit that's not in my old ass team's best interest. That's my thing. Is I would prefer Harper and Schwarber not to be there, as well as Christopher Sanchez. I know he pitched. Aaron Nola not pitching, but it's going to happen. So that was my complaint with it before. I really would prefer not watching these guys have to put this strain on their body this early into the season.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I like it for the pitching aspect. And this is what I'm going to say. I like it for pitching aspect. It stretches out Noah. It stretches out Sanchez, where we don't have to let them go just 5 innings, right? Mm-hmm. Because now their arms are stretched out. They've pitched.
Yeah, they can only go at 65 pitches, right? I think that's
right. Yeah. I mean, but still, like it's still like it's spring training. You know what I mean? And they're loosening their arms. So he said Nori's first round pick in 2024. Shot up through the minors, should be in AAA. So
yeah. I think so too. I think he should be in there. Especially after this, that might force the hand of the Phillies organization a little bit. He's kind of in the spotlight-ish. I'm not saying like big spotlight, but his name is becoming Dante Nori. Like, there's probably a lot of people who are watching that did not know he was a Philly in the Phillies organization until they either said it on the broadcast. I knew it when I first saw it, but like the average Joe maybe didn't know that. So now that his name's in there, it might be good to get an Iron Pigs jersey with Nori on the back. Yeah. But it's kind of fun how they've been having fun with it, doing shots of espresso when they hit a home run. They're sitting there when something good happens. They're doing this. They
are living.
It's funny.
It's great. Now, big game for U.S. tonight. Big game. It's win or go home. They are the road team tonight against
semifinals.
Semifinals against the Dominican Republic. Paul Skeens against Luis Severino is your pitching matchup.
Skeens is good, man.
Yep, for tonight. Now, this is what I don't like. Tomorrow, it's Venezuela and Italy, right? Then the last game is on St. Paddy's Day. So if you're playing that Monday game, you got to turn around and go right back and play the next day, where the team that's playing today, they get a day rest. So the winner of this game, I feel, the winner of this game is going to have an advantage going into that Tuesday night game.
Okay. Well,
you know what I mean? But you know what? If for some odd reason the USA does get knocked out, which, by the way, congratulations to Venezuela for knocking out Japan. That was
they beat the champs. They beat the champs. So everybody kind of thought it was going to be between Japan, Mexico, and United States at this point. But
Venezuela got a good team.
The DR is giving everybody a run for their money.
And Venezuela,
they were playing for something last night. Like I said, they were playing for with something important for them, which is the Olympics.
All I know is this: if it does do it, if Italy makes the final, Al, I think we should talk to Maddie or talk to the powers that be here. We should come on and do like a live watch party, and just every time they do it.
Hey, listen, it's 8 o'clock on St. Paddy's Day. I might have a drink in front of me, but that's okay.
Yeah. Me too.
But I would be totally for that, or at least a post game for it. My Italian heritage gets me a little excited watching it, but like it's just been fun to watch. Nola's been doing well. Dante Nori's been doing well. Some guys like even Jack Castiglione, or how you ever say his name. He was a top pick prospect that same year that Nori was taken. Mm-hmm. So, it's just watching these guys flourish. It's been pretty cool to watch. Let's talk about the Eagles and the Phillies. Okay, yes, we are. Good segue. Speaking of, before we segue into that, I just want to remind you guys, you have Final Word with Matty B tonight, because I'm sure he's going to have plenty to say about what we talked about earlier at length, more than we wanted to. I really didn't want to give it that much time, but we did. But here is next week's lineup for you. You got Flyers post game on Monday with Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, Gridiron Weekly on Tuesday, Pittsburgh Sports Desk, Final Word with Matty B, as well as the Flyers post game on March 11th, Wednesday. Actually, hold on. Did I look at the wrong one? I'm sorry, I got it backwards. There we go. It's the same thing, different days. Um, no Flyers post games on those 2 days, but Wednesday it's a Flyers post game. So Tuesday we could fit in maybe the final word. After the
Yeah.
final word, we could fit in maybe a post game talking WBC if we wanted to. And you get the Flyers. Final word with being the Flyers Kings on Thursday. I'll be back on Friday the 20th, of course, for the Philly Friday Frenzy. And then I guess again on Saturday, the best of the weeks long. It's a Rep Sports, as well as the Flyers and Sharks post game. And then, of course, Sunday, us in the morning. Fighting's final 2026 Phillies preview at 5 o'clock. So you get us twice next Sunday.
Yes.
And the final word with Matty B.
Actually, I got the late game Thursday night. I'll be doing Flyers Kings. So that one, I don't expect too many people to stay up. It's a Thursday night, and that's a 10:30-ish game. So that's going to be, that's going to be a little bit late game, but I will be up for that. And I also have the Sharks game on Saturday. So I will definitely cover it. Hey, our buddy Frankie
Yep,
James.
there it is.
Yep, there it is. So Matty gets the all-inclusive Coach A's, the rematch with him. So it's pretty
cool. All right, so let's talk about the Eagles. The people have asked for it, so let's give it to them, Mikey, Lauro. We are trying to give the people what they want, so let's give them what they want. Let's just kind of run through what has happened, which has not been anything huge for the Eagles outside of retaining Jordan Davis. I think was a big one. I didn't know if they would be able to do that with Jalen Carter's contract looming. But they did. They agreed to a 3-year, $78 million extension with $65 million of it guaranteed. So that was a pretty big chunk of it. He's the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history and keeps him in Philly through 2029. Initial thoughts on that transaction?
I thought it was smart. They had to sign him because if not, then he was going to be, I think he has become a locker room leader. And that's from the voices inside the locker room.
Yeah.
Said Jordan Davis has become a locker room leader. Apparently, he's the guy that kind of goes to Jalen Carter and says, yo, let's go. You got to wake up, man. Let's go. And apparently Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter, that's his big bro. So big bro looks at little bro and says, all right, knock it off. We got to get to work.
Do the Eagles, do they sign Jalen Carter's extension this year or during the regular season?
I think they do. I think they get it done before training camp. I do.
Or do you feel it's not a done deal that he is here and they trade him away?
What are you going to trade him for? I mean, he's one of the best. I'm
just asking.
Nah.
I mean, we're going to trade him for. You could trade him for a lot of things if you have.
I'm not. Listen, I was strongly against them trading him for Max Crosby. I was strongly against that trade. Listen, you are not taking a 23-year-old or 24-year-old stud defensive tackle and trading him for a 31-year-old defensive end.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just asking. Is there a chance in a world where they either trade him away because they can't afford to sign him for whatever he's going to command? Because if you're getting $78 million for 3 years for Jordan, which is, if you notice a lot of things, is they're not doing any more 4 or 5 year deals with anybody, which is good. So
only their main players. The players they want to keep is what they're. Listen, the way I look at it is this. You got to look at the.
So it's Jordan going to be 28, 29 when he's this? Yeah. Well, no, 2029 when he'll be done.
But here's the thing: if you're looking at that, Al, right? Again, these guys are all going to be in your, they're all going to be in their prime. And like I said, you're not going to. This guy fell into your lap. Trust me. Does he have a little bit of maturity? Yeah, he's a young guy. He's a young guy. He will mature into a player. Like, he's not going to, here's the thing. Does he do some dumb stuff on the field? Look at him off the field. Have we heard anything about Jalen Carter off the field other than before he got here? No.
Well,
so, I mean,
we heard not really crazy off the field. I mean, that was him, not showing up on time, and they had a little disciplinary actions, but nothing crazy.
But again, that's a young kid being a young kid. We were all young once. We all used to go out and do the.
I don't remember, Mike. Where was I? I mean, I've seen pictures. I've heard stories. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember much of my youth either, but like I said,
Rob's saying Carter should be re-signed at the end of the season. Would it be
I don't,
smarter?
I don't, I think they're going
Would
to
it be smarter for the Eagles to extend him sooner rather than later?
Yes, it would be smarter for the Eagles because you get him at a discount. He may want $30 million a year. Okay, if he wants $30 million a year, that's one you could draw out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Draw it
mean, like,
out.
and not to go back to the Phillies or anything, but I'm going to use this as an example. Alec Boehm has been really putting on a show in spring training.
Good, we can trade him.
Again, it's spring training. I'm not getting too ahead of myself, but is that because it's a contract year and he knows if he wants to get paid and he either wants to stay in Philly or get paid somewhere else, he's got to show that he can do what was thought of him to be able to be doing. You know, is it a smokescreen? You know, that's like that's what the other thing is. I'm all about extending guys if you're about the year before their last contract because I think you can get a little bit, couple dollars less. You know, instead of 40 million, it might be 38 million, 37 million a year, whatever the number would be.
I think you get it done for 35 a year. I think you will put 35 a year in front of that kid, he will sign. And this is that. Yeah, but hold on.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is Howie's got a very good track record of doing that and getting them to where by the time those deals start coming out, okay, they're going to end up looking so cheap on the back end as they're getting towards that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're signing Jordan Davis to 3 years, you think Jalen Carter's
four? I would give him a 4-year deal.
I don't know, man. I still think 3 years just because of his wear and tear, a little bit of issues. If you can get him for a 3-year deal, that means you're not stuck with him when he's not. If he does start to wear down, you do play a little bit of a game. If you have to re-extend him again.
Look, to be honest with you, the one guy on that defensive line that I want them to extend, other than Carter, is also a Jomo. Like, throw some money at that kid for a little bit.
Well, you know here's the thing: the Nooms is something. This is something I brought up because this is why I asked: is there a scenario where you guys think they don't extend Carter, or because of a reason? Because I think the Birds have to look where they are with Coop and Q for the rest of the roster when it comes to Carter's signing timing.
Yeah, but you also
got the signing timing, but how much you're going to be paying? Because those guys are going to get paid soon.
Yeah, they are going to get paid, but also the salary caps are going to go up, which means your bankroll is going to go up. And by that time, there's going to be guys that are going to be on the moves, coming off the books. There's going to be money there to pay.
How much do you think Coop and, like, on average, like Quignon and Cooper?
We got to look up. You got to look and see what the top.
Let's just put it this way: 20. Would you say bare minimum $20 million a year?
I'd say around 22 to 25 a year.
Okay, so just again, but let's put it at 20 just to make things easy. That's right. $40 million a year on 2 guys alone, right there. You're paying Jordan Davis what?
Okay. Yeah, but I see what you're doing now, but you're thinking in terms of this salary cap. You got to remember these salary caps are going to keep going up. So
they don't go up $45-50 million.
Sure, next year it's going to be $30 million more.
But my point is if they do that, you're still going to have to if you extend Carter, right? And you're saying what, 28 million, 30 million easily. Say 30 million. Let's say 30, make it a round number. So if you extend if he's still on his $30 million a year contract. And then you have the 2 guys getting 20 apiece. That's $70 million. You got to
but you're looking at almost a $300 million. It's almost a $300 million team salary. So $70 million. Yeah, you're going to get that. But I'm telling you now, like he's going to be. They're not going to get rid of Quinyon Mitchell. They're not going to get rid of Cooper DeJean. Those 2 guys are going to be a staple on your back end for years to come. I'm already saying it now. They're going to move. I got a feeling Coop's going to move to safety in this base defense that they run. I think he's going to be one of your safeties.
And don't forget, come after next year, most likely, you don't have Vic Fangio. So you're going to there could be a complete change in philosophy in defense. I don't know. That's a whole other.
Jim Schwartz will be back
for another day. Yeah, right.
Jim Schwartz. Listen. Go ahead,
Sean Quilly here is saying, good deal with Davis. Howie will sign Carter during preseason. So before the season starts, he believes Carter's extension will be had. He might not get his money this year, but his extension will be in place. Just need to draft well, and we should be able to go back in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, listen, with the way the team is, the playoffs should be outside of any falling apart or massive injuries. And, some learning curve we'll see going into the new offense. Rob's saying he thinks AJ stays. Has your meter, the AJ meter, has that dipped one way or the other? Are you still in the middle? Like where are you at?
I think the closer you get to June 1st, the closer he stays. I do. I don't think they're. I just think it's too much of a cap hit for them. And this Eagles team don't like taking cap hits. Look what they're doing for $20 million with Dallas Goedert. Which, by the way, I think that's going to get done. I think
that's going to get done. They keep pushing that one back. It'd be really two times you push something back. It's kind of hard to imagine unless they just come to a stalemate and what's his face? Dallas goes, you know what? I need to do what's best for me, and I need to see what I can if I can get my bag.
Did Njoku sign anywhere yet? Because I haven't seen him. I know he's still out there. I think he's still out there too. So
I know can you explain to me the Grant Calcaterra return? The guy had like 400 yards in the 4 years he was here, maybe a touchdown or two. I don't know.
They're just giving him a shot to make the team. I don't think he's even going to make the team. They got Johnny Munt on the team.
I know Johnny Munt's there, and I like him as a number 2, number 3.
But you also don't forget you still got Johnny Wilson too. Johnny Wilson will be coming back off of injury.
Well, we'll see. Noom say we need one more of those hungry Carter years to evaluate. There's nothing wrong with making a guy. I understand it, but that's not how he's forte. He likes to sign guys when he can get a little bit of a. If it's going to be 30 million, if you can get it for 28 million, 27 million, because he signed it a year or a little ahead of time.
Let me ask you a question.
He can plan it out a little bit.
Well, Carter's a 5th-year guy, right? Why do you think maybe they give him a little more money and extend him 1 year out, give him an extra year on this rookie deal?
I don't think his agent would have anything to do with that. There's no win for him on that one unless they're offering him $50 million for the next year. You know what I mean? Like, where does he get? What is it? How does it benefit him? It only allows them an extra year to see if he falls apart, and and if because he has one bad injury, he got nothing out of that deal. That would, for a guy of his clout, for the guy that. If you were going to trade Jalen Carter right now, you could probably get 2 first-round picks easily, right?
Yeah.
So there's his value is high. He's going to go for the value being high. He may bank on himself and say, I don't want to sign an extension. I'm going to bank on myself and show that I can, and I'm going to get my bag. You know what I mean? Carter and Campbell's shoulders have us in a bind. Yep, this is absolutely true. Campbell's shoulders is kind of flying under the radar with all the talks of AJ and Dallas Goedert and all that stuff, because he's not going to he's going to miss all this preseason stuff or workouts and stuff. So that hurts him because the man really sorely needs it. I saw they restructured Hurts's contract already. Yes, they did a little touch up, more guaranteed money, ghost years, things like that, because that's what's happening. Dallas Goedert, if you guys really look at it, if you look at it under a microscope, the AJ Brown and the Dallas Goedert situation is, if you let Dallas go, you're paying a lot of money for him. You're on the hook for, was it 15 million, some crazy number like that?
Yeah.
So you got to pay that. So they have to kind of get him done. Dallas Goedert's people kind of have the Eagles over a barrel a little bit in that sense. And AJ, if you trade him now, I think if AJ gets traded, it's going to be post June 1st. It's not going to help us this year at all. It's not going to help us get a first round pick this year. But if they do trade him, it's going to be, it's going to help stack 2027's draft class up, or they get a player in the deal. I don't know how they work it out, depending on who it is. But let me add this in. I know a lot of people think it's going to happen with New England. I know the Rams have kind of come into the conversation as suitors.
Yeah. Let me talk on that. These Rams fans are delusional. Like, they think we're going to give AJ Brown away for the 13th overall pick. I'm like, no, you might want to chip in a little more than that. Like, you're going to chip in a little more than that. Like, no way. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, yeah, we're going to send him out there so he can be with Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua.
I think Devontae Adams. Wait. Is he under contract still, or is he?
Yeah, I think he's under. Yeah, I think he's still.
I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes in the trade. If you traded for AJ Brown, would you be surprised if they said we'll send Devontae Adams in the first round pick or something like that?
I would do that in a heartbeat. Because Devontae Adams,
I can see that. I can see that. Listen, if you put
You have to
Devontae
match
Adams,
it up.
AJ Brown, and Puka in the same. With if Matt Stafford's just even semi-healthy, that's scary.
It is
That's
because you
that's
have
a scary look.
right. It is. But I'll tell you, there is somebody that I see sitting on the. I'm looking at the top 10 best free agents available.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm the Eagles, I'm looking to see how much it's going to cost you to go get Joe Benito, the guard. He played in Cleveland last year. You know, but I just don't know, man. I don't. Like I said,
here's a comment for Elephant. I kind of want to go along with what we're talking about here. I get everyone's love for Coop, but we're not honest. If we're honest, he's not on Jalen Carter's level. First part, I get what you're saying to a point, but is he close? I kind of feel he is.
I mean, I feel he's just as important
from
to
his,
the
his positional standpoint. Yeah. The guy plays well. He doesn't miss games. He hasn't. There's been no issues. He's a great glue guy, from that standpoint. And when his position, he has it pretty locked down for the most part. And he's young. And he's. I mean, there's a. I almost, if you said, Al, you got to extend Jalen Carter or you got to extend Coop, you can't do both. I might be leaning more towards Coop a little bit, to be honest with you, just from longevity standpoint.
Now, looking at this too, there's a couple edge rushers that I see on here that are free agents. Cameron Jordan, Hassan Reddick, Javion Clowney, and Joey Bosa.
Out of those, Joey Bosa thing,
I think Bosa's going to go play with his brother. You know what I mean? So I think he'll be going there. But I wouldn't mind kicking the tires from Cameron Jordan. Played his whole career down in New Orleans. Still had a very good productive year down there for them. Obviously, they're not bringing him back. And what do you feel about Hollywood Brown maybe coming in as a third wide receiver if we keep AJ?
I don't know. Is that a waste on a guy like that? Do you need a Hollywood Brown? I know he's kind of has his injury history and all that stuff, but is it like look how much touch? If you have AJ, how much touch did Dotson get? Not a lot. Now, listen, things could be completely different now with the Sean Mannion offense, and they might spread it around a lot. But isn't that the kind of problem we're having with AJ? He's not getting the ball enough. He's not padding his stats enough, or whatever it is. Noom said he's never wavered on AJ. Now I'm going to jump down to this one. Only way AJ Brown is traded is if it's a Herschel Walker or Ricky Williams type deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way I'm moving them.
So paying someone like Goddard differed bonus money from other contracts. In the essence of kicking the can down the road, the chickens are coming home, Howie. Listen, the ghost years is something Howie's been dealing with for years, and he's moved things around appropriately. I'm not worried about contracts with him. You can bash Howie all you want.
Listen, if he wins a Super Bowl this year, that's going to be 3 Super Bowls that he's won within a decade. Like, you cannot agree with his style of doing it, but if he wins 3 Super Bowls in 10 years, yeah, you really don't have a leg to stand on as far as doing what he did.
This isn't the first time that the quote unquote, and I've talked about the kicking the can down the road. I kind of burned this in. Was it 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read after the Super Bowl, or 2019. It was one of those 2 years. It does come home to roost at times. It's kind of the game you play, knowing that at one point you're going to have to move. But I think AJ Brown would have been traded already if it wasn't for the June 1st situation and the cap hit that it would
if his cap hit was the same as Dallas Goedert, he'd have been gone. He'd have been gone already. They would have been like, all right, we'll eat that. But they're not going to eat $40 million. I mean, dude, you take a look. They've eaten some big contracts over the years. I mean, the Wentz contract was damn near $38 million. They ate that when they had to ship him off. You know what I mean? So they've eaten big contracts already. So again, but Al, do you bring back Hassan Reddick for that pass rush?
Wait a minute. Didn't Hassan Reddick, didn't he retire? No, he didn't retire, did he?
No. He's
a
free agent.
Hassan Reddick, obviously, there's more to his story than meets the eye.
Well, listen, he was in Tampa last year, and they pretty much they didn't offer to bring him back. And like Tampa needed pass rushers like ungodly. You know who I would bring here, honestly? I would bring Javion Clowney here. I really, truly would. Because he had a pretty decent year for Dallas a year ago.
Well, if he's one of those guys that the Eagles can pick up for a year, or maybe they get him later in the year, like let him, since he's older, let him like kind of stew and not get banged up for the first first half of the season, and then pick him up after the trade deadline or something. I can see it.
I don't think after the trade deadline. I think he'll be
will never play for Vic Fangio. Yeah, I don't. Well, so I know. Well, Javon Hargrave, he got dropped by the Vikings, didn't he? And then he got picked up by Green Bay. I'm trying to remember what happened with it just recently.
That was Minnesota he was on.
Yeah, but didn't he just get signed by the Packers?
He might have.
Because he was when I saw he got dropped. I'm like, ooh, Javon Hargrave. I wonder what he could go for. But I think I'm trying to see what they signed him for.
It had to be minimum because he hasn't had a good year since he left here. So, he was in San Francisco. Then in San Francisco cut him.
Well, he got a bag. That's why he got a bag and a half
to go. Yeah,
and then he probably didn't live up to that bag, which happens a lot. Goddard is holding an illegal hostage. Homers will fall on the fraud Howie's sort of like lapdogs. Here we go. Here we go. I feel like when he types these things, it's either on his phone or he has like one of those rising desks so he can stand on his pedestal. You know what I mean? Like it's funny.
But and I want to know, how is Goddard holding the Eagles hostage?
No, it's kind of
when it's the Eagles and him both agreeing to kick it down the line. Like him holding the Eagles hostage would be like, no, pay me my money. You know what?
No, if you overpay for him, that would be holding him hostage. Yes, but if they sign him and for a reasonable contract, that's not hostage holding in my eyes. But he's not wrong in the sense that because of the can being kicked down the road and the way they restructured him at the times of the past, they will take a huge cap hit if he does not sign with us. They would, and he's not wrong, and that's kind of the game you play. So yes, he does have a little bit of a standing on that where he can get his money. So, but it's got to be within reason, because if the cap hit is less than what he's asking for per year, they're not going to do it. Yeah. But he's not wrong. He has a little of a you got to work today, Adam? Sorry.
Oh, that stinks.
That Wentz deal got us as a jump start to get multiple Super Bowl appearances. The Wentz, the deal when they dealt him to Indy. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, because that led to AJ coming here and a few others. Dallas got is fiercely loyal.
Listen, this is correct.
I don't think. Listen, Dallas got is 31. He don't want to leave. He wants his last bag. Give him his last bag. And like I said, in the draft, which by the way, I got mock number 5 out. Hopefully, you'll probably
pull it up.
Hold on. Let me
whip it out, Mike.
Oh boy, I feel like I'm doing a show with Pat. Here's mock number 5, guys. That's right. It did for some odd reason it cut it off.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on one
It's
second.
got like at 54, but actually Monroe Freeling was not at 54. He was at 23. For some odd reason, the
numbers got a little out of line.
Yeah, the numbers got a little out of line, but 20 was Monroe Freeling, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, you do see the trades that I made right here that's on the right, okay, that I've made. I did the first 3 rounds. I did the first 2 rounds, literally. So Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, Georgia, literally fell to me. They had him ranked going 13 in the draft overall, because as they take numbers, as the draft is, the mock is going, it'll show you where they expected him to draft. So they had him drafting at 13. He fell to 23. That's why I took him. Christian Miller, same thing. He was supposed to go up in the upper 40s to, I think, like 38. And he fell to 54, Christian Miller, the defensive tackle out of Georgia as well. Number 71 was Jennings Dunker, offensive tackle from Iowa. You give me a big old boy offensive lineman from Iowa, I am signing him just on that merit. Number 98 was Max Clare, tight end out of Ohio State. decent tight end. He can block. Not only can he catch, he can block as well. Number 137 was Malachi Kamara. He's an edge rusher from Indiana. He came in at 137. 144 was Michael Taff, safety. That's right. He is out of Texas. I took 2 safeties in this draft as well. You see, I didn't really do a lot of offense other than the lines. I took Michael Taff as our first safety at 144. 153, I took Lewis Moore, also safety from Indiana. At 178, I took Herzeka Masses, cornerback from Cal. I also took he was at 178. At 207, I took Emphius Prystock, cornerback from Washington. And at 236, I took Deshaun Stribling, wide receiver from Ole Miss. And I finished up our draft in round 7 with Jaden Roberts, guard from Alabama. These are the trades that were made doing that. And I basically got 2 draft picks here because they didn't show the other one. But with Washington, I also got pick 178 with this as well. So as you see right here, I kind of traded back some because I know the Eagles did not have a 7th round pick in this draft. So there's my mock. It'll be up on the socials. I did send it over to Maddie. Maddie will probably put it up on I believe our TikTok. So, but I wanted to show you guys that was my mock. A lot of people don't, but
I want to have a beer with Dallas Goddard and ask why it truly never went as well as expected with him and with, I guess, Zach Ertz.
Yeah, Zertz.
Why does no one bash Howie for his failure to usher in the Eagles dynasty with back-to-back Super Bowls, wins due to poor roster construction? All I hear is Super Bowl appearances, good disciples. All right, Matt. I'm not going to get into it with you. You know exactly what you're doing here.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. It's the same thing. He went to the Super Bowl, so what we can't bash him for now is that we didn't go back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah. And yes, it was on Howie. A portion of that was on Howie. He didn't have the greatest offseason at all. He didn't get any good. The depth hurt us a little bit, especially with all the injuries on the offensive line.
I'm sorry.
All those kind of things.
Yeah, go back and look and see how many teams went back-to-back.
It's just like,
everybody does it.
So
right? Everybody does it.
Let me ask this question. So, Matty B,
Seattle going to go back-to-back this year, Matty?
Yeah,
are they going to go back-to-back? They lost everybody too. Let's see if they go back-to-back.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. If they won back-to-back, would you finally give Howie his flowers, or would you be upset if we don't three-peat?
Yeah, he would be upset we did three-peat. Look, he's on that hill, bro.
Talk about kicking the can down the road here, mister. Kicking the can down the road. You are truly sports talk radio can kicking at its finest right there. I see what you're doing. I see you. The NBA schedule is favoring the Sixers' rise from the ashes. The question is if they remember or are healthy enough to fly. I don't even know if it matters health or not. I know they're reevaluating Embiid, which you can reevaluate them all you want. That's not going to get you anywhere. And then what's his name? Tyrese Maxey's been injured too. So I just see that as a talk to me later. Just put him out there. It's like time to put Old Yeller down. Who cares about Seattle? It's about the Birds dynasty. He failed, bottom line.
Oh yeah, because dynasties just come along, right?
It's not even that.
Come along,
it's not even that. And here I'm going to put this one up because it's going to go along with what we're saying. We deserve it. Goddamn, don't you get that? I'm not saying we don't deserve it. I would love that to happen. But I'm also not going to crucify this guy because the team failed. Part of it is on him. I'm not saying that. But it was also on him. Was it on him, or was it more on Sirianni for the Patullo situation? They should have never put somebody in there who had no play calling. So maybe it's on him and Jeff, too, as much about letting Kevin Patullo be hired or just moved up because of hubris from winning the Super Bowl just a year prior. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to do that. But I'm also not cutting my nose off to spite my face in this situation because we didn't get to that dynasty. And trust me, I still look at it. We win that San Fran game and they can, they somehow got that offense just a little bit clicking better. I'm not sitting there saying we win the Super Bowl, but we probably go to an NFC Championship game again. Seattle would probably have been a hard beat. The Seattle Seahawks to me were the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, like a dominating defense, a quarterback who wasn't making any mistakes for the most part. Great wide receiver, great wide receiver tandem, a strong running game, strong offensive line. I mean, they had a lot of the same same positives that the Eagles had when they won the year before. Maddie, I've come to realize there are other cities that are suffered worse than us. Yes, we put in more work than those cities, but everyone gets the turn in the barrel.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you know what, Maddie, you could be a Cleveland Browns fan, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. That's what people say. I know. I hear it. Before you even send the next message, Matt. Before you send it, I'm gonna just tell you what he's gonna say. Let me use my great powers of deduction here to figure out what's going on. I don't have my tin hat by me, but hold on, we'll figure this out. But well, we're not Chicago. We're not these teams. We're not those teams. We're not Cleveland. I get it. And would I have loved to have it back to back? And was it a failure on the Eagles as a total? Yes. Offense was not there. They a wasted defense. We can only hope the defense is as good as they were when they ended the season or close to it. And if this offense gets better, then we could be very much Super Bowl bound, or at least in the conversation. But that's the key factor here. I mean, again, you said it earlier. Nooms is talking about it. Dynasties are hard to come by, especially when turnover happens. When you win, people pluck you like crazy.
Look, the Eagles didn't even win this year, and half of their defense was gone.
Yeah, and they will contracts.
I mean, listen. I mean,
it was it was a squandered opportunity. I'm not disagreeing with that at all, but I'm also not throwing out the mold here because it didn't work the 1 year as we would hoped it worked. Like, you got to make changes. You gotta flex. That's what you have to do. You can't just burn it all down, burn the link down, burn the Nova Center down, fire Howie, get rid of Jalen Hurts and everybody else. I'm not doing that. It's there was some fractures, but you can fix those fractures. That's how I look at things. And if the Eagles won this season, right? If they won again this season, is it less of a dynasty just because it wasn't back to back? I don't know. Like, that's how I look at things. Let's see what he said. Not the same sports city that sent me through the fire of fandom. Soft, apologetic, care more about the name on the back of it than the front, and excuses. First part, that is the biggest line of BS in the world. I've never met a fan base, for the most part. If a guy leaves here, they are dead to them. I mean, I say that every time. Like when Nakobe Dean was supposed to go to the Cowboys, there was all that conversation, him going to Dallas. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? I love Nakobe Dean, great player, but you go to Dallas, you're dead to me, bruh. You know what I mean? That to me, but he says that we don't care about the name on the front. I push back on that. That's bullshit right there. Sorry, excuse my French. It's not apologetic. It's not soft. It's being realistic. Okay. And listen, what I love, the won 7 Super Bowls in a row. That shit's not sailing anymore. It's just not gonna. It's just something that's not gonna happen. And unless you have Tom Brady, and look at even the Chiefs, the rooster came home to roost, or whatever he said earlier. They had more back-to-back options and all that stuff, but they had to pay for it. This year they couldn't even make the playoffs. Guys were aging out, contracts were getting too unwieldy. They had to trade away with it. Trent McDuffie. I mean, they got a nice little bag for him, which is great, but that's a huge defensive loss for them. You're coming off an injured, a big injury for Patrick Mahomes, so God knows how good he's going to be. I mean, it's not excuses. It's being logical at times. Like, I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to throw it's like my wife made dinner tonight and she burnt the food. All right, get the gasoline can out. Let's light the house on fire. Like, that's what it is for me. Like, that's the scenario that you put in by saying something like that. If we won the 49ers game, we'd still have Patullo for another year. That is a very good point, Sean. That is a very good point. I actually said that when the Eagles, I guess that was the 23 season when they just fell apart and all that stuff. When they had that, I'm like, if they go in, because both us and Tampa were just meandering teams. You know, I mean, like we were just like teams that we were in bad we were in bad divisions. We were able to won enough games early enough to get into the playoffs. I'm like, I actually hope the Eagles lost that Tampa Bay game because I didn't want them to have any success and keep around some of the stuff that they needed to make changes. And I agree with you, Sean. I agree with you. KP wasn't the problem. KP was absolutely a problem, but it wasn't KP's fault. Let me put it that. KP was absolutely a problem. It was a problem KP was in there when KP should have not been in there because it's Nick Sirianni. He is not a play caller. So you can't have a play caller without any sort of backup who's never done it before. Like they learned their lesson. That's why they brought in Grizzard, right, from Tampa Bay. He caught some plays, not a lot, but you need somebody who could, because he's never done it and done it well, it should say at least. That was hubris on Howie, on Jeff, and on Nick. They thought we have the guy already. We could move up. He'll mold right into it, and he was well in over his head. So it wasn't his fault directly. He just was a problem in there.
No, wait a minute. Didn't Patullo go? He's what, like quarterbacks coach right down in Miami now? He's in Miami.
Florida. Is it Miami?
Yeah,
he's like a QB coach or something. I think it was the same kind of job he had with us before we.
Oh yeah, passing game coordinator. That's what it was.
Passing game coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like nobody else even thought of him. Like, if it wasn't his fault, and he wasn't the issue, okay, why did the players say he was the issue?
Wait, we shouldn't crucify Howie? No, we shouldn't crucify Howie. Like, we should let him know he did something wrong and and tell him to fix it. Crucifying means you're burning the house down because he made a calculated mistake. Show me in sports where anybody's perfect every time, and I'll call you a liar because that doesn't happen. But I'm not going to crucify Howie. I told you, it was hubris. They just thought they were, we just won the Super Bowl. Oh, we're smelling ourselves. We won the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. That's what it was. And we don't need an outside guy. We have the guy right here. And we're going to be just as good and go running back. And even despite the fact that Kevin Patullo was in over his head and the offensive line was injured, oft injured, and the offense couldn't click, this team still was in the mix for the most part. Lost some games at the end that really boggled the mind a little bit, but then won some games. So my point is, it wasn't enough for me to burn the house down because that's what you're asking me. Why would I crucify Howie? I would say, hey, Howie, you failed. Fix this. That's what you do. I'm telling you. You know, it'd be like I feel like if at the Matty B residence, if his wife, God bless her soul, by the way, okay, God bless her soul, came in and said, hey, Matt, I just want to let you know the kitchen sink's leaking. All right, start lining the gasoline up on the floor and light the match. Set the place ablaze. We got to move. That's Matty B right there. When you want to crucify somebody because you made a calculated mistake, and even though the house is fine, there's an area that needs to get fixed, and you're not going to fix it. No, you're going to burn the house down. That's what he wants to do, and that's now you're going too far the other way with it.
Yeah. Elephant in the Room says, wow, never thought I'd be happy losing to the Niners, but here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You say KP was the biggest problem.
He was a big problem.
But he wasn't the only problem.
He wasn't the only problem. There's a lot of injuries on the offensive line, all that stuff. That played a factor too. But at the same time, he got ushered into something he wasn't ready for. And he had no backup to help him out in some areas.
I love this right here. It says, we were given two of the most legendary Super Bowl wins over possibly the two greatest QBs and dynasties ever. So if you can't be thankful for that, then there's some fugazi parts of you, of the sports soul. Now, and I agree with that line there. And that's not being a homer. Now, this here, I'm gonna bite back against. He says, KP was the problem. Good luck with an aging offensive line, a mid quarterback, and a diva wide receiver that don't want to be here. Well, guess what? A diva, the wide receiver, don't want to be here because the guy calling the plays didn't know what the hell he was doing. That's all right. So guess what? If you get somebody here that knows what they're doing, you're not going to have a diva wide receiver. You've been calling Jalen Hurts mid for whatever. I get it. He's not going to be the guy that's going to go out and throw you for 400 yards. But you know what? He'll win another Super Bowl before Josh Allen wins.
I'm going to go as a Matty B line, Mike. What's the ultimate goal of the game?
To win.
To win. I don't care, my quarterback. Does it matter if your quarterback only has 250 yards?
Yeah. Listen, he kills Hurts all the time. And granted, I'm not going to sit here and say Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. I'm not going to say that because that's not true. But the dude can
top 10. My eyes. He's got to be in the top 10.
Listen, I would love to see Jalen. And if I'm him, I'm hoping this offseason he is practicing that 15 to 20, like between 10 and 25 yards in the middle. In the middle of the field, between the hashes. He's got to learn. So, yeah, but Foles he's been the 2. He's been the 2. So, he's putting it up there that Hurts won and Foles won. He did.
Foles can't win another one. But here's my thing.
Exactly.
Foles hit his limit. Jalen could what's Jalen? 20 hold on, Jalen
appearances don't mean come on, dude. Like, give me a break with that.
If
appearances don't mean
27.
crap.
So he's not even probably hit his prime yet.
Yeah. Appearances don't mean nothing.
If he's a quarterback for another 5 years, you're telling me he can't win another one in that time frame?
Then I don't want to hear about Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes only has 2 Super Bowls then.
No, 3.
Or
they
3.
Won 3.
He's got 3. But it was 3 over like 8 years.
That's
so and he's lost.
Yeah, he has lost some. I'm just saying, are you going to throw him out because he lost?
Yeah, right, exactly. He acts like Brady didn't lose. I'm sorry. What Super Bowl did Josh Allen get to? I'll wait. What Super Bowl did Lamar Jackson get?
Hey, and his favorite. I know Matty B has a little man crush.
Joe Burrow got the 1 Super Bowl and lost.
And I know. His little man crush, Mr. Drake May. He loves himself some Drake May, right?
That kid's good. He's going to be.
He is good, but he got to a Super Bowl
and pooped the bed.
I mean, he couldn't even try. Like he was still a rookie too. I get that.
I love it. Now he's talking about. I'm talking about your top 5 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Your top 5 quarterbacks that people, I'm not saying just you, Matty, but other people, they're the top 5 quarterbacks. And granted, I told you, I'm not saying Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. All I'm saying is that dude, for the most part, when the game is on the line, I will take him over Josh Allen. I will take him over Lamar. The only guy I probably wouldn't take him over right now is Mahomes, because Mahomes has been there. He's got 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 6 Super Bowl appearances. So he's 500. He's literally 500. They got 3. I think it's 3 out of 6 Super Bowl appearances, which means they lost 3 times. So I don't get it. I don't get it with them. And look at them this year. At least
hold on 1 second. A loss is a loss, right, Mike? We can all agree with that.
Yeah.
This was little
a loss is a loss, but
a loss is a loss. A loss is truly a loss. But a loss isn't a reason to burn the house down and to throw it all away. So in Matty B's mindset, we should be getting rid of Howie. We should get rid of Jalen. We should probably just trade away AJ. We should trade Devontae too while we're at it. Why don't we get rid of Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Cooper? Just throw it all away. Just throw it all away. Like, you have a good recipe. The recipe, you have to tweak it a little bit. And you got to tweak it every year for it to stay relevant.
Oh, boy.
It'd be a little ridiculous.
All right, I'll go to the next one.
And that's why you are Homer. Who cares more about the name on the back than the front? Again,
I would love to see.
You keep saying that.
I want to see a team that he creates. I know it is. Listen, I watch college football. I literally have done mock drafts. Okay, my lowest grade for a mock draft. Now, granted, I know it may not fall that way, and I personally, I don't think I'm probably going to hit on any of them. Okay, my lowest grade
Crapshoot.
picking was A minus. Okay, I watched the games. I want to see. I want Matty B to do a mock draft because I want to see how he would build this team. I want. Matter of fact, when you come on tonight, Matty, I want to hear how you would rip this team down and build it, and I want to see how many championships you think you're going to win with this.
Well, I mean, if you go by the Matty B mentality, if Matty B became the Howie Roseman, if he became the GM of the Eagles, say they fired Howie and they put Matty B in charge, as soon as they lose their first game, Matty B needs to go because it's obviously not working. They lost something. They lost. They're no good. Get them out. Go. Sorry, Matty. Telling you.
Matty said he's done too. All right, it's on the socials. All right, I gotta go check out your mocks then.
All right. I gotta see that.
I gotta see his mocks.
I should have a mock off.
Yeah.
I've already done 2 mocks. It's on the socials. Okay. The media crowned Mahomes the GOAT after his first Super Bowl win. It's amazing when they call others before they retire. Listen, the whole GOAT thing, I think, is blown out of proportion sometimes. But listen, Patrick Mahomes, he's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks in history.
I'm telling you right now, I've been saying it since we started doing this show, me and you together, Al. I will continue to say Josh Allen is nothing more than this generation's Dan Marino. He will have all the stats in the world and will never be able to get over the hump. He may get to I don't think he's going to get to he'll get to a Super Bowl, but I think he'll get to a Super Bowl outside of Buffalo. Like he may get to a Super Bowl with another team. That Buffalo team.
If he loses this year.
What do you mean this year? They had it all set up.
No, I'm saying if Josh Allen loses this year,
I don't want to hear about his stats.
Does he ask for a trade? Is he asking out of Buffalo?
No, I don't think so.
Hold on, I'm going to see something. Well, he's 29, so he'll be 30 before the start of the season in May.
You're right.
So I wonder. But with that being
said, I wonder if Buffalo starts drafting his replacement soon.
All right, and the Phillies are on at 105 today for another spring training game. They're taking on the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, Braves! Okay.
Yesterday, yeah, Atlanta Braves today. Here is your starting lineup. Starting off in the number 1 spot, the leadoff spot, Mr. Trey Turner playing shortstop as well. Number 2 spot, Marsh is at left field. Bohm is in the 3 spot at third base. Garcia's in right field in the 4 hole. Stott is in the 5 hole playing second base. And the 6 hole, Otto Kemp at first base. Your DH is De La Cruz, which I'm really like watching this guy. Like I'm interested to see how he plays.
He's looked good. He's looked good.
Marchand is your catcher du jour today, and he is in the 7th spot. The 8th spot. I'm sorry, 7th spot. Marchand is in the 8th spot, and then Rojas is in the 9th spot at center field. And your pitcher on the mound today is Mr. Taijuan Walker. So that is your lineup today against the Atlanta Braves. So a little Atlanta Braves Phillies action. Not regular season, but gives you that hint, the taste, of Phillies.
Listen, man, there is nothing better than on a day like today, and I'm going to be real honest. Nothing like a day like today. When it's kind of a little, not real cold outside, but, starting to get the little warm up. You throw some dogs, either in the air fryer or on the grill. 1 o'clock baseball game, turn it on, just sit back and watch, and you hear the crack of the bat, and you get ready, knowing that really in 11 days it kicks off for real. So,
yeah. I got what's the agenda today, Mikey?
Well, the agenda today is that me and the wife's date night will officially have ended because I have to go pick up my mother-in-law. So,
Mom's coming home.
Mom's coming home.
Yeah, stop playing house.
Yes, exactly. So, got to go get the mother-in-law today, and I don't know what we're doing for dinner. I haven't talked to the home foreman yet. Let's see what she wants to do.
I have a party to go to today, so that will be dinner for me tonight.
Yeah, I went to one yesterday. A high school friend of mine turned 50 yesterday, and it was really good to hang out with. Yeah, I get that in a couple months, man. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
Mike Laro. We'll have to
Yeah.
do a little fun time celebration. We'll
Well,
do
yeah.
like the best 50s of the last 50 years of Philly sports, and then like the top 50s in Philly sports.
Dude, you might
The
as
first guy to
well.
hit 50 home runs, first guy to get, all that kind of stuff.
Come on, man. You really trying to jog my memory at 9:00 in the morning?
Well, I know. You might take a nap during that one.
Exactly. Guys, make sure you tune in tonight. Matty P, the final word.
I'm sure he is going to be enraged tonight. I think we
Yes.
I
Well,
think
good.
we did it.
He probably threw his oatmeal across this kitchen.
And then he
So-
burned the kitchen down
Yeah.
because the kitchen was ruined.
Yeah. So but yeah, he's gonna have
God
Brandon.
bless
If
his
he's
wife.
if he's
Jesus
umpiring, if he's umpiring today, some poor 8-year-old's getting tossed. So
Did you see the video of him umping? He
yes,
put it out there.
yes, yeah, classic
Classic
Matty B. I would be the guy. I would kick dirt on his shoes just so he'd have to throw me out.
Oh, he's the kind of guy I'm like, oh yeah, this is the guy I'm gonna get thrown out.
Yep. But all right, guys. Have a good one, man. Make sure you tune in to Matty tonight and give him hell about what we're saying. Give him hell.
Give him hell. I'm sure he's gonna love it. I'm sure he's gonna love he's either gonna love it or hate it. You never know. Matt, you never know if Matt's being enraged is a good thing or a bad thing. You never know. But it's gonna be a must-watch TV. I'm just gonna put it out there.
So 9:00, man. Make sure you are here.
Yeah, you're here at 9:00 for the Matty B final word with Matty B. He's Mike Laro. I'm Big Al.
Have a good one.
Have a great Sunday. Go Phillies. Go Birds. And whatever else is happening. See you next time.